Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Adam Miller, and I'm joined here with Jim Fitzsimmons and Mark Deere, and this is our fourth quarter executive live stream with all of our folks at Swift Transportation. Planning to cover several topics today, and then also touch on any live questions or comments that some of our folks watching may have. So please submit your questions online, and we'll review those, and we might bunch some of those together if they're kind of common themes, and try to answer as many questions as possible with the time that we have. So we'll plan to touch on the market. I know there's a lot of questions on the market. It's probably the number one question we get about what we're seeing today and what we expect to see in the next year or two. We'll also touch on driver appreciation, some of the things that we have going on in that area, some of the new equipment that we're bringing in, touch a little bit on owner operators as well, and some of the activities we're seeing in dedicated.
Yep.
Yeah, so should be a good show, hopefully. So I'll just jump right in on the market. So this is, again, the hot topic. And I think what we're seeing currently in the fourth quarter is a very positive sign in terms of seasonality. We're seeing more robust freight markets in the fourth quarter than we've seen in probably the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And we're seeing many of our customers really start to shift more volume to us because of the fact that we own our trucks, we own our trailers, we're a carrier of size. And I think some of our customers are concerned about how much exposure they may have to smaller carriers through brokers. I think they're concerned about some of the theft that's now becoming more prevalent in the market. And so they're looking for maybe a little bit more security with a large carrier like Swift and some of our other brands. And so we've seen a nice influx of freight in the fourth quarter. And so that's leading to better miles for our drivers, better paychecks, and I think should be overall better results for Swift and again, some of our other brands. So we're very grateful to see that. We're glad that those opportunities are coming our way. We have to do a great job servicing that freight. We have to ensure that we're taking advantage of these opportunities. So let's make sure that we're out there running as much as possible. We don't know how long it will last. We think it will lead to a better environment in 2025, but we never want to take that for granted. So I know we just came out of the Thanksgiving holiday. I hope everyone had a great, safe holiday, had some time with their family. But hey, here's a real opportunity in the next few weeks to run, hit the road, make a good paycheck, put some miles on the truck, and service our customers. And being able to do that effectively should lead to more opportunities in the first quarter, where typically you see a seasonal downtick in freight. And if we could do a good job here, I think that might lead to future opportunities. So maybe we can improve the impact or lessen the impact that we typically see from Q4 to Q1. And then, I think of what could be coming in 2025. We've seen volume improve through the improved seasonality. That should lead to better spot rates, which we're also seeing, and that typically leads to better contract rates. And so the bid seasons have just kicked off. And so I think early on we're seeing, some mid-single digit improvements in contract rates, which is a good sign and sets up 2025 as a year where we can begin to recover as an industry and certainly, get back some of the margin that most in our space have given up over the last 2 years. And if I think we can effectively do that, service our customers well, then I think 2026 could be a year where we get back to more normalized levels. And I think be in a much better position where the carrier maybe is in a more favorable place than we have been in the last couple of years. So
yeah, on that point, it does feel like 25 will definitely be better than 24, though, right?
Yeah, I really don't see a scenario where 25 isn't better than 24, especially how Q4 has been shaping up and the early conversations with our customers who do seem to value the service and the security that we bring at Swift and our other brands. But again, hey, we can't take that for granted. We have to do a great job, provide the capacity where they need it. And I think, that'll take care of itself, where we'll have an opportunity in 2025 to really improve the volumes for our drivers as well as the margins in the business.
I think, from the multiple lines of business that Swift has, we're, a customer that uses Swift has the ability to utilize all of our services. So it's not just over the road. It's all of our lines of business. So I think, again, that helps us leverage the fourth quarter.
Yeah, when I think about dedicated's been a tough market,
Yes.
in 2024, and that typically happens when the over-the-road rates are relatively cheap. And so, as those over-the-road rates improve, as we're seeing already in spot, and expect to see that improve in the next contract renewals, I think that's when dedicated becomes a little bit more attractive to our customers. So, Mark, I don't know what you're seeing.
Yeah, so I'll start with the peak season that we're finishing up here in the next 3 weeks, and it's been the best peak season that we've seen in the last 3. So certainly better than the last 2. Now we're nowhere close to where we were during the pandemic with all the demand for dedicated, but we're holding our own, and we're going to have a solid fourth quarter. And then really, you look at the outlook for 2025, I think we're going to have more potential, as you mentioned, Adam, as the market capacity, OTR capacity tightens up a bit. We will see more opportunities, and hey, we're ready and poised to grow with that. So for all those, we had a few questions about dedicated growth, and hey, we plan to grow in 2025, grow profitably, and so we're going to be aggressive, or as aggressive as we can be, to go out and add some trucks, dedicated trucks back. So.
Yeah, and on that growth, there were some questions around, what's growing the most, what line of business is growing the most currently, and really we're not looking to grow right now. We just been maintaining, so we're not going to grow in a market like we're in right now, where it wouldn't make sense to add more trucks when you have a limited amount of freight out there. So we've done a very good job, at Swift, of just kind of holding where we're at, trying to maintain what we have. And like Mark talked about, in this environment, it's very difficult to hold on to dedicated. But as that shifts around, there'll be a very good chance we'll grow dedicated, we'll grow line haul, reefer OTR, intermodal, wherever we feel it makes sense to grow is where we'll put the growth.
Yeah, and I think even logistics will be an opportunity to grow as well, as we see shifts in the market. Typically, that's a business that's very complementary to what we do in truckload. And so as truckload's in a more favorable position, typically we see more opportunities that can flow to logistics.
Yeah, logistics is one we talk about, right? We talk about power only and how sometimes that'll benefit Swift when they give us freight. Now that's a customer or a line of business, I think in Q1, we'll see a big benefit. They've got a large customer that they've been hauling that, is really shifting a lot of their freight over to Swift Logistics. And I think come January, February, Swift will be able to take advantage of that. And so again, it kind of just goes to, back to our point, we try to say that when you see a Swift trailer going down the road with another truck pulling it, it's not always a bad thing, right? Because that's how we keep that business alive and going, so that in times when it slows down, it goes the other way. We're able to take that business from logistics and run it on a Swift driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, do you want to touch on maybe some of the driver appreciation awards that we have?
Yeah, so it's the holiday season, and we always survey our drivers on what they might want as a holiday gift. So this year, and they've probably seen the advertisement, but we've got our insulated tumbler in a couple different colors, and we're excited about that. Those will start being available in our terminals December 11th. So please be on the lookout. Every driver for Swift should get one of these. And hey, let's thanks for what you've done this year, and let's look forward to a better 2025. But we really appreciate everything you do every day. You do the heavy lifting for us, and we certainly, from our perspective, want to support you any way we can. And by giving a little holiday gift, we hope you enjoy your holiday season. We'll work hard to get everybody home and do the things that we always do to support our network. But hey, it's an opportunity for us to say thanks for all you do and how much we appreciate you.
Yeah, and then so next Wednesday, the 11th, like Mark said, every terminal will be doing a driver appreciation. So we have driver appreciation nationally once a year, but at Swift we do it 4 times a year. So
there you go.
This will be the quarterly one that we're doing. So if you're able to get through a terminal, if you're in a city where we got one, please stop by. We love having drivers stop by when we have that. We realize not every driver has a chance to get by a terminal when it is that day, but please take advantage. If you're near one, swing in and we have food. Just kind of show you some support that day.
Yeah, same goes for our dedicated operations. We're not like every terminal. We have some limitations and we do things a little bit differently. But hey, please stop by the the local office there, and we'll take part in whatever we're doing to help celebrate driver appreciation in the fourth quarter.
All right. One thing I wanted to hit on is some new trucks we got coming in, and I've been here over 30 years, and I could say this is the first time in my career we were going to have Peterbilts in the fleet.
First for me too.
Very excited about that.
Pretty excited. So I was told this morning the trucks are here at Swift today. I haven't got a chance to go out and look at them, but I've seen pictures. Pete's look great. It's kind of cool seeing a Peterbilt Swift truck. I didn't know that I would ever see that. And then we've got some new Volvos as well that we're starting to take.
Yeah, I actually saw both of them yesterday, and beautiful. Right,
Yeah.
I think our drivers are gonna love them, and we look forward to getting them out into the fleet.
Yeah, so they're going to be kind of, we're not going to get a whole lot to start with. Going to kind of test the waters on both these new trucks. The Volvo is a brand new truck. One exciting thing on there, we talked about it in a past video, is it's got an electric APU. So I'm really excited about that because I've been trying to figure out how do we make APUs work at Swift. Financially, we've never been able to make the math work. This one's kind of built in. It's it was an upgrade, but if this is successful, it could be kind of the entryway to get more of these in the trucks, assuming it kind of pays off. But a lot of great stuff. Blind spot, tons of outlets in the truck. It's got a whole new interior. My understanding is that the bed on the lower bed kind of makes into somewhat of a couch. So if you're watching TV, should be a really cool truck though. So I'm excited to get those out.
Yeah, I'll have to get out and see those.
Yeah.
I have not had that opportunity yet.
Yeah, and I had a chance to meet with the OEMs, the CEO of Volvo, and they're very excited about it, and they wanted to make sure that we had a chance to get them into our fleet because Swift's an important carrier out there. A lot of people see what we do, and many carriers would follow our lead, and so they're excited about seeing those trucks in our fleet. So we're looking forward to testing them out, getting feedback from our drivers, and providing that feedback to Volvo.
Yep. So more to come on that.
Yeah.
One thing I want to hit on a little bit more, you kind of mentioned, Adam, was service, and it's so critical that we pick up and deliver the freight on time that our customers give us, because not only does that help us hold on to the freight we have, it's paramount. And when it comes to new business, and if we get more business when the bids come around, and so we'll be going into bid season, I promise you that our service scorecard is at the top of that list, right up there with price. And so just very, very important that we deliver the freight on time. And also to many customers, it's equally important that we pick it up on time. I think back like 15, 20 years ago, no one cared if you picked it up on time as long as you delivered on time.
Right.
Today, that's changed. And today, everything's electronic. And so there's no, showing something on time when it wasn't. It's just very important that we pick up on time, deliver on time. If you run into a reason you can't be on time, whether you're, you get sick, you have a breakdown, weather, whatever it might be, the key is communication. We got to communicate so that if we could repower it, we will. If we can't, we won't, but we've got to make sure the customer's in the loop, and we reschedule that.
I'd say with the improvement in the freight volumes, there's parts of our network that feel stress at times. And so this is where we have to execute as an organization to ensure that we can handle the additional volume. So keep our miles per tractor high, keep our drivers productive, but also maintain a high level of service. So again, when you transition from Q4 to Q1, you have the key customers that are moving freight in the first quarter. You took care of them in the fourth quarter. And so you don't see the dip in freight from Q4 to Q1. So it's paramount that we service our customers, that we're communicating at a high level, both internally and externally.
Yeah. So and again, like this kind of gets back, everyone wants to do a longer length of haul, right? But there's many times where something happens. Maybe we had too many days on the load. We drop it locally, and then now that load just got to go 5 miles, 10 miles, or maybe 100 miles. That's where if somebody's asked you to do that, kind of look at it from the big picture where, it's not the best load for you because it's a short load. We're going to pay you for it if it's that short. But again, we're going to make service. And so I know a lot of times our planners will struggle to get those short loads covered once they get T-called on a yard. Yeah. Let me hit on there's some stuff on owners I want to hit on. So there are some questions around referral bonuses. And so we do have a $1,500 referral bonus. So this goes for company and owners, where if you refer an experienced driver, it's kind of one way you can make more money if you feel comfortable enough to talk to drivers out there, other experienced drivers that aren't working for Swift. We've got a great referral program to bring new drivers into Swift, and that does go for the owners as well. So I wanted to hit on that. we're working on a new program. It kind of would tie in with the load board that we have now. We're hoping by probably the goal is the end of this year, which that tells me it'll probably be sometime early next year. But we're pushing to try to get it done by the end of the year, is to bring more freight into that load board through our logistics program. And so if we could do it by the end of the year, we're going to do it. But most likely it'll probably kind of take into the first of the year. But the goal is to have that done by going into Q1, so we can take advantage of logistics freight, give our owners more options on that load board. So kind of more to come on that. And then Ken, Brett, and I, last time we did one of these, we mentioned we're working on, a kind of a market rate type pay, where the goal is as the market starts to turn around and we see rates finally go back up, right? The rates have been coming down for 2.5 years, but as they start to go up, we want to have a program where the owners also take a benefit of that, and their pay would go up as well. So
Well, it'll also be based on the market that you're coming out of, right?
Well, yeah.
So you'll have head hauls, you'll have back hauls, and so we'll be able to base it on what the market's paying in that location, based on where it's also delivering to, and give you a rate that mirrors what the market's doing.
Yeah,
or
but
is a
as
percentage of that.
the whole market goes up, the owner would benefit from that, because as rates go up, the pay goes up.
Yeah, so we still have a per mile option that
Mhm.
pays the same mileage, regardless of where you're driving, but
Right.
then there's going to be a market-based pay option as well that we'll begin to test.
Yep.
So excited about that. I know, surveying some of the questions that we saw, there's a lot of questions about driver pay and how that works and how we're looking at it. And so I wanted to touch on that a little bit. There's several different components of driver pay, but if I look at the base pay on a per mile basis, we survey that on a regular basis and ensure that we're competitive to the market. The way our over the road pay is primarily based is you have a starting pay based on tenure, and then it builds and grows from there based on mileage driven or length of tenure at the business. So there is opportunities obviously for that to grow as you're here longer and you stay productive. I look at the dedicated business, is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that pay, is really based on the contract that we have with the customer and adjusts based on when the contract rate adjusts with that customer. So you have different timelines of when that occurs.
Right.
We did quite a bit on dedicated pay in 2020 and 2021.
Yep.
And so while we have renewals that come out, we'll always look at the pay at that point to see, what can we do to support our drivers.
Yeah, we're always looking at driver pay, and in fact, it's one of our job of choice initiatives, which is market competitive pay. And as Adam said, we work really hard to make sure that we're in line with the marketplace. And hey, the last couple of years have been a lot tougher, and our customers have had to make decisions on from their cost structure. And some of our business in dedicated was our customers were able to convert that to one way at a lower cost. And so I know some of our drivers have commented about losing some trucks off fleets, and certainly that was a byproduct of that. But hey, as our contracts renew, and we're in a large group of those right now as well, we'll certainly look at driver pay and where that needs to be over the next year or 2 or 3. So depending on contract length, but always a something we look at very closely.
Yeah, and it's done account by account.
Yeah, it's all per each unique contract, and like you said, the term of that. So it's a moving target as we go through our renewals.
I'll put you on the spot here, Adam. Here's a question I get quite a bit. It's a good question. What will the impact of tariffs on the freight that originates in Mexico, Canada, and overseas coming through the ports? How do you think that'll impact us here at Swift?
It's really hard to know right now, right? I mean,
It's going to vary by customer too.
it will, and so
and market.
So I'd hate to predict what that's going to do. I know there's some questions of whether there's going to be a pull forward where some of our customers try to get ahead of tariffs and move freight in earlier, which that could create a surge in demand. And surveying our customers, I haven't heard that yet. I think they're still developing their plan and trying to understand what the potential tariffs could be. So there's still a lot of unknown around that. So we're here to just continue to serve our customers and do the best for them and just understand what their strategy is and position our business to support them. But right now, I think there's probably more questions than answers around that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I do think you're not going to see, even if it goes into place in January or into January, I don't think you're going to see an immediate impact because people still need that product or that freight. So
Right.
it's nothing that's probably going to change overnight. So kind of be a slow roll into it.
Yeah.
Here's a question. I'll take this one. Somebody's asking, why are the owner ops getting so many heavy loads? And again, like that's something we don't plan on. So it could just be dumb luck that you're getting, heavier loads. But I can tell you, when our sales teams goes out and looks for new opportunities, we're not worried about weight as long as it's legal. Now, some freight obviously by nature is lighter than others, and some customers, like you say, it's a retailer, some loads are heavier than others depending what's mixed in that trailer. But weight's something, obviously we're going to make sure it's always something legally that we can haul. We're not going to ever ask you to run overweight, but we're definitely not going out and targeting lightweight loads. At this point, we're willing to take any load we get. So
Quite honestly, we don't always know what the weight.
No, it depends on the customers in the market, and
right.
Hey, we're not smart enough, I don't think, or sophisticated enough to cherry pick weights on trucks and trailers, and things that are going to dictate who gets what. So it's about the truck that's available, the driver that's available has the hours. It's a legal load, and we're going to keep everyone moving. So
and hey, we want our owners to be successful, just like we want our company drivers to be successful. In a market like this, where we have more freight options, I think we want to try to meet the needs and the desires of our owner operators, but at the same time, for what you can do to help our business is be flexible and support us where we need help. And there's markets that we may be overbooked and we may need additional capacity there, and that's where we may ask you to run into a lane that you don't typically run in. But that's how we keep that freight in house. We create more options for our fellow drivers, and then you're able to probably win more freight with customers. So with owners, we want you to partner with us and work to secure freight with our customers.
Yeah, and keep in mind, at Swift we run a lot of company trucks, right? So we understand that you're going to get a little bit better MPG when you're under a lighter load versus a heavy load. But I promise you, running more miles, you will quickly offset that difference by a long way. So that's really kind of where you want to focus on.
It all balances out in the
exactly
over time.
Keep the wheels turning, and I promise you'll outrun the little bit of extra expense on a heavy load than a light load.
But I think Adam touched on flexibility is one of the biggest things with our operator partners. I mean, if you're willing to be flexible, we'll find your freight, we'll keep you moving, and like I said, it works out in over time.
Yeah. And there was a question on that we could hit on too that was asking if we're trying to grow the owner fleet. Yeah. And again, it kind of gets back to we're not trying to necessarily grow, we're not trying to shrink it, but if it makes sense, we'll grow it. It kind of just ties in, whether it's in line haul or dedicated. It's part of the overall truck count. But we love our owners, and so it's definitely something as this market starts to pick up, we'll definitely want to grow that. Again, that's why we're trying to find new options to keep our owners as the market starts to get kind of turn back in the carrier's favor, where we could keep them, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that's where we're investing in the load board. We're investing in a new pay method to try to create more options to make Swift more attractive to owner operators. Don't want to be here in good markets and difficult markets, and again, want to be there to support them.
Yeah, definitely. Mark, I'll let you take this one. I think you've talked about this one in the past, but what are the options for a driver that's looking to come into the office, whether it be at Swift, Knight, US Express, one of our other brands?
Yeah, I think the one of the questions I saw was, how do we make that easier as KNX and represent all of our brands? And the answer as it sits today is we don't really have a mechanism that pulls all those into one source, but that doesn't keep a driver looking for a non-driving position to go into the Swift website, Knight website, US Express, et cetera, and look for those opportunities, because they are posted online. So everyone should have visibility to open positions. So I would say if you're interested, take a few minutes and just go to those websites and see if there's something there that might fit your need.
Okay, thank you.
I would say let me shift while I'm on here too on like dedicated driving positions as well. I mean, if you're a current Swift driver and you're looking for something different, or you've got a different need in your life, that you're trying to fill now, get with your driver leader and talk about the situation, see what options might be available. And then, we've got a driver placement team that does a great job trying to find internal new homes for our incumbent drivers. And, we've got 120 open dedicated driving jobs right now across the network. Now they're not in everybody's backyard, but certainly the driver placement folks can help you see that. You can also see it on our swifttrans.com website as well. So those are out there. We've got opportunities for teams as well as solo drivers. So, if you're interested in making a change, or you need us to help you with that's out there as well.
All right. Thanks, Mark. There's a question on our shops or maintenance shops, if they could be open 24/7, or maybe even the question could be partly around more hours. I would tell you, 24/7 is probably not a great option, obviously, because there wouldn't be too many drivers in the middle of the night that need their truck repaired or their trailer repaired. So from a cost standpoint, we wouldn't probably go to a 24/7 unless it was an operation where you're running a lot, at nighttime type of deal. But we are always looking at opportunities to make sure we've got it adequately staffed, like on the weekends, depending on the hours. It's an area where it's hard to hire sometimes. And so we just had this conversation with Steve Lynch this morning on a different call. It's kind of funny that question came up, that we talked about that. And he was saying it's hard on the weekends to hire people that want to work just weekends. And so we talked about a Friday through Monday staff, and it's just not ideal. But I can tell you we're committed to making sure we keep trying to keep our shops, as much horsepower in there as we can that makes sense. You can't have mechanics sitting around, but we're going to continue to try to make that better for you.
Yeah, it's really market by market based on where you have volume.
Yeah. Right. Let's see here. There's a question, Adam. I'll let you maybe kind of clarify. We hit this already, but we had mentioned at one point, we talked about possibility of percentage pay for owners. You want to kind of talk through how we're looking at that a little bit more detail? I just want to make sure there's some clarification around that.
Yeah, so I think what we're looking at for owners is really a market-based pay. So instead of trying to take a percentage of the revenue on a specific load, because that can vary depending on what contract we have with a customer, we would look at what is the market. And there's third-party indices that we use today to look at how what does the market generally pay out of a certain origin destination pair. That would be what we would use to base the pay on. So it would be similar pay on a origin and destination, regardless of the customer that you're hauling for. That way, there's more consistency in the lane pairs than really trying to cherry pick which customer you're going to haul for, because that revenue may vary. So I think just try to make it a little bit more consistent across the network for our owners.
Yep.
But again, that would ebb and flow based on the market you're originating out of, as well as just where the market is trending. Could be based on seasonality or just where we're at in the cycle.
Perfect. Well, we got less than 2 minutes left. So if you want to wrap this up.
Yeah, I think I would just say, hey, how much we appreciate our driving associates, our mechanics, our non-drivers who really come in and give their best every single day here and do it with just respect and trust. And just, always trying to improve. And hey, we know 2024 has not been an easy year. That probably goes without saying. But hey, we succeed together. We go through difficult times together, but we're a team through that. And I'm so grateful that I'm part of this team. And gosh, can't express enough how much I appreciate the men and women that make Swift what we are today.
Yeah, and I would echo exactly what Adam said. And really, really thanks to all of our team members for the great job you do. Things will get better and the market will improve. One thing for everyone, hey, we're in a critical time of year for a lot of our retail partners. And those are the customers that we've had for decades who count on Swift to be there when they need us. So I would ask everyone the next 3.5 weeks, it's time to shine. We did a really good job through the Thanksgiving holiday. And now, we've got the Christmas and New Year's holidays coming up. Please, let's service. Jim mentioned it earlier. Service is a priority for our customers. We need to know that our drivers are available and flexible and are able to service the business that we have. So it's just really important that we finish this year on a high note as we go into bid season, as was referenced earlier, and put ourselves in a great position to move forward into 2025.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt echo your guys' thoughts on our whole team and what they do every day. You keep in mind this year with Christmas on a Wednesday, it's probably the worst day of the week to have Christmas on. And so I can promise you that freight will stay strong all the way into that first week of January. So it's going to take a lot more effort, a lot more teamwork to make sure that we, to Mark's point, we kind of deliver for our customers. And so just encourage everyone to make sure we've got a good plan. If you're one of our drivers, make sure you're working with your driver leader, that they understand when you're taking off, when you're coming back, so we can try to take full advantage not only of the freight we have, but full advantage of getting you all the miles that we could get you during the last couple of weeks of the month.
Yeah.
But thanks for all that you guys, everyone does. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all.